that long day behind you. Good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, that a bash a smile on your head. Come on in, the door's open, you'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and lend our stories your ear. Cause we're the talk the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk the tavern. Promising beer and bedlam. The talk the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
And welcome to the Tavern, where we'll trigger you and you cancel us. But we'll get to that in a moment here, folks. My name is Travis Sivart. Go check out my books. There's self-help shit in case you're lonely and sad. There's fantasy in case you've got fantasies. Anyhow.
Oh, there's some of those too.
Yeah, baby. My vices tonight for this. See, I'm already starting. I'm building up to them just canceling me. Right away I'm starting with that. And sci-fi. And I think I'm gonna. Goddamn, Andrea was encouraging me. So I'll tell you that story later. I got some. So I was trying Jim Beam rye. And I had to go back to my favorite rye whiskey, which is Tin Cup. This shit is so good, so mellow, so sweet. I love this. I could get a case of this and...
Yeah, she is.
Did you just call my wife a Tin Cup?
Yeah, he did.
Rice whiskey. Sake? I'm sorry, Felicia asked rice whiskey. No, this is just rye whiskey. I'm sorry, you're asking what I said. Rye, as in rye bread, as in what you have with a good Reuben.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, folks...
It's as smooth as titties and whiskey, or whatever Chris Staple was.
Titties and whiskey or Tennessee whiskey? What did...
Oh, is that what he was saying? Oh.
Either one is good. Yeah, I mean, titties and whiskey or Tennessee whiskey. Wait, what? And a pipe with... Oh, by the way, I finally ordered more pipe tobacco. It should be here any day. It's been shipped. I'm so excited. Andrea, why don't you just tell us what you got?
Well, I got a cat in my lap, of course.
Wait, I love how you just went,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Harry.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Harry House and Cat.
Go on.
I have in my lovely Talk of the Tavern mug, I have some hot tea. It's Mango Magic. Not sponsored by any tea company, but I wouldn't turn it down. And also some...
Wait. What tea company makes it? If you're begging for shit, you better know who you're begging from.
Oh, any of them.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
Here we go.
Ahmed tea?
Ahmed tea. Yeah, and it's called Mango Magic. It's my new favorite.
Ed, you got something to say about that?
No, because the last time we had Ahmed on the show, it got to talking about some kind of monkeys, and we got in a lot of trouble. So no, I got nothing to say.
This is the cancel culture show. You got anything to say about that, my brother?
Nope.
I'm sorry, Andrea. Please continue with your...
I'll just sit here and sip my tea.
Pass the ball.
Oh. You messed me up. Okay, so what about you, Ed?
I am just drinking wine from Chester Gap Cellars. Go check them out. I'll give them a plug because it's a great place to hang out. If you're in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, go ahead and check out Chester Gap Cellars. So I'm just drinking my wine, and if you hear any crunching, that's my potato chips.
Let me point this out. We are fucking going to support you. I don't care if it's a good book we're reading, a good whiskey, wine, cigar, pipe, or any other various things. We're going to support you. We don't need no goddamn sponsors. But we'd love to have a couple, so Yeah, send us an email at talkathetavern@gmail.com. And Felicia is eating pickles. So, like, whole pickles, just those big, just thick pickles. Or are we talking like pickle slices, like bread and butter, like, or the 3 off your McDonald's burger because you're like, I love fucking pickles. Why are they on my burger?
Am I the only one that eats the pickles off the burger? And
No, I do, but I eat them off Andrea's her pickle burger.
So I don't like when they put the butt in a pickle on my burger. I
You don't
the
like it
butt
when
in-
they put any pickle on your burger.
Whatever.
all right.
Mount Olive kosher dill mini
Dill.
hope. Okay, dill is
Ooh,
well, I like.
dill,
You don't
yes.
like dill, Ed, or you do like dill?
I love dill.
Okay.
It's a big deal.
I'm all about the dill. Sweet, not so much. By the way, check out Mount Olive Deli Dill Relish. It's fucking great.
Oh, that's good stuff.
It is. Yeah, it is. And we also buy the big jars of Mount Olive dill pickles. Because afterwards, we clean those fucking jars out and use them to hold flour and sugar and rice and all these other fucking things. We're fucking canning shit in there.
I got a rant about that.
What?
Okay.
What?
A lot of companies that used to put stuff in jars, they used to make them standard size so you could reuse them for canning.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore. What's wrong with them motherfuckers? Now
Really?
I gotta pay for jars when I want to do canning. Yeah,
Some of them do, but not as many as they used to.
right.
Or they'll have the mason jar looking things, but then it's the little.
It's a different
Right.
thread.
It's a different thread. Yeah. What the fuck?
No, you
Help a
could
brother out.
you could still like heat cannon those, right? You just can't cold can, or is it the other way
You
around?
can't can it all in them. You can't use the lid that was on it because it won't seal properly and you'll get botulism, and that's not a good
Oh
thing.
man, I love a good botulism with some garlic and onion in it.
I bet you do.
Well, I
White
do.
people.
I reuse those. I reuse those jars with the original lid, but not for food. Not usually for food, but I put my tea in it
All right, stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
or Q-tips.
Well, like the Mount Olive gallon jars, we're using them to hold rice. We're not actually sealing them on a permanent basis, but we're just
Right.
sealing them. Or mashed potato flakes.
Pasta in bulk. Pasta in bulk.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we need an opening toast for culture. Cheese cultures. Our favorite.
Drink more.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to do with the goddamn toast. Hey, I just want to let everybody know in this family-friendly toast, if you're going to cancel us because of something we said, make sure you share it with all your friends and family on social media so they come check out how horrible we are. Fuck you!
Yep.
Here's to that.
Here.
That toast was brought to you by Ed because he told me to drink more.
Yep.
So, cancel culture. Andrea, would you care to define that for us dumbasses? Our retards? I'm a retard. Help me out here. By the way,
When somebody
Andrea's...
says something,
Go ahead.
what?
Wait, me?
When somebody
You-
says something, or shh,
Okay.
damn it. When somebody says something or does something and you don't like it, and you're like, no, delete.
You
You're
don't
canceled.
like it, or they're genuinely dangerous to society because they're insensitive and horrible people. You can't pause that long. Come up with something quicker. Come on.
Is that a question?
Yes. Did you not hear
I-
that at the end?
No.
What kind of chips are those,
So
Ed?
if we get, God, we're doing so great.
I'm glad you got the portion size. I mean, it's double portion, but whatever. What, Andrea?
What was the question?
It was the thing you were answering. Go on. Okay. So, cancel culture. Andrea just defined it. None of us remembers what that was. But let's just say See, Felicia in chat. Yeah, there we go. Says, I'm listening to you, Andrea. And Andrea loves Felicia, but hasn't flicked you or me yet. And we could tell what time it is in this world because of Ed's goddamn clock. Hold on. It doesn't show on stream. We're okay, Ed. We're okay. We're okay.
Sorry.
2 a.m. somewhere.
So, no, it's off because of the framework I use. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ed, can you name some examples of cancel culture we may have seen in the past few years?
I can name one I just read about today.
Mm.
Local high school. Local high school. Thanks, Bob, for loving me. I love you too, bro. Wakanda forever. Local high school. Graduation. Class president spoke. And of course, apparently these days, before you can speak at your graduation, you have to submit your speech and they have to read it and approve it.
Really?
They read her speech. Yes. They read her speech, approved it. At the end of her speech, and I know not everybody can see this, so I'm tapping my heart. She tapped her heart and she did this.
Hmm.
You don't know.
By the way,
She
in
may have-
case anybody's driving right now or not looking at the
She put her-
video, go ahead, Ed.
She put her hand up, palm facing the crowd.
Like
okay?
she's waving or holding her hand up for a high five.
Like,
Or,
possibly, right?
or
But
she may have been.
immediately, it's the fucking Nazi salute, and people lost their goddamn minds. People, stop it already. That salute was used in the military for militaries all across the world in ancient times for God knows how long before Nazism came along. Stop it, stop it, stop it.
Or if you're gonna do it, instead of an open hand, make a fist, or just leave one finger up. Just leave one finger up for everybody. As in a thumb.
That's what it reminded me of. You said making the fist. I remember the Olympics back in the 60s, the two black athletes
Ah,
standing on the stage, getting their medals, gold medal, silver medal, and this one little white guy that won the bronze. And they put their gloves on and raised their fist high, giving what was traditionally back then the black power salute.
yeah. Yeah, was that
And
all three of them, including the little white guy? I know you put the word
the
little.
white guy did not. He knew they were going to do it. And knowing they were going to do it, he decided, I'm going to go out there and stand with them anyway.
Good.
But anyway, our society back then lost their fucking minds. Now today, we would say the opposite. They have the right to do that. If they had the right to do that back in the 1960s, why the fuck doesn't somebody have the right to do the opposite today?
Can we have a
Okay.
statute of limitations on bad guys' hand signs? I mean, it's been 75, 80 years since World War II. 45. So 2005 would be 60. Yeah, we're at 80 years. Can we get a statute of limitations? By the way, the swastika originally flipped mirror image
It was a Christian symbol.
Hindu, older than Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Christians, you stole a lot of your shit from other people.
Well, yeah, this is true too, but we'll get canceled for that.
Yeah, which that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for cancel. We're looking to offend them all.
Look, and it just happened.
We have yet to be canceled. Otherwise, people would know what our show is, right? Am I
Right.
Am I right on that one? Yeah. Can we? Okay, Ed, you said yeah.
Can we just quit being offended by stupid shit?
Okay. By the way,
A word does not have power unless you give it power. Whatever hand gesture doesn't give you power unless you give it power. Shut the fuck up.
trigger warning. Ed, what do you call
Okay.
What?
I got a comment on this one because she just quoted Ed Summers.
I know.
And being a black man, y'all know what the fucking word is. I don't have to say it. I'm not going to say it because I don't want the show to get kicked off of Twitch. But y'all know what the damn word is. Stop giving it so much damn power. Please.
Or do like rappers fucking own that shit.
Own that shit. Own
Yeah.
it.
and take it back. But there's other words that are so goddamn minor. Don't do it, Bob. Don't do it, Bob. I'll have to bet. I'm sorry, our chat is misbehaving. They're just going crazy over here. But Felicia says, facts. Word doesn't have power over you until you grant it that goddamn power over you. I don't care what that word. Uh-huh.
Have you seen The Labyrinth? End to end. You have no power over me. What? And everything shatters, and she's free.
Yeah,
There
then
we
he
go.
says, shut up
There
or
you
I'll
go.
drop a house on you like I did your sister.
There you go.
Wrong movie.
Oh, sorry.
Watch Blazing Saddles. Watch some Quentin Tarantino movies, and
Yeah.
and be
South
fine.
Park. South Park. Because
It's changed over the years.
I was talking about that
Django.
today. Yeah, Django Unchained. By the way, decent movie. Really decent movie. And Sam Jackson fucking stole that goddamn movie.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
My favorite part was when they were riding into the town for the very first time, and he's up on the horse, and everybody's looking around. Because I looked over at my wife, and I said, they ain't never seen a ninja on a horse before. And sure enough, that was the line that came out of his mouth. And I was like, love this movie. I'm going to love this movie.
By the way, it's so funny. We have shows like South Park that regularly pull that trigger. We have movies like Django Unchained and really any Quentin Tarantino across the board. And I haven't been a fan of all his movies, but a lot of them I have been. I feel like his movies, you either individually love that movie or hate that movie.
Or hate it. I wasn't a Kill Bill fan, but
it was okay. Good action scenes, but there was Inglorious Bastards. That was his, right?
mm-hmm.
No interest. Don't give a damn. Don't care. Wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But you give
I
me
only watched it once. That says it all right there.
Pulp Fiction grew on me. The more I watched it, the more I liked it.
Yep.
Django Unchained just right away went this.
Oh, yeah.
Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Don't care. It was long and dull. But the point is, these things are out there. Sometimes even Family Guy. Not so much Simpsons anymore, but Family Guy, South Park, Quentin Tarantino. We got all kinds of shit. Anybody else says it, they're getting canceled.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of other people in the past 3 to 5 years that have been canceled because they said the wrong thing in the wrong place. And sometimes I don't have a problem with them getting canceled because I didn't personally like the guy.
What's her name from Mandalorian?
Okay. There's somebody, oh my God, I can't remember. Gina. Begins with a C.
Carrera.
Yeah, Carrera. I totally didn't agree with her point of views. But I agreed with the fact that she had the right to say them.
Right.
And by the way, for anybody that's been in the military, I don't care how much you fucking disagree with them. In general, not all the time, but in general, you're like, nope, that's what I went in the military for, to fight for the right for you to say dumbass shit I don't agree with.
I said that several years ago in a statement I was making. This is going to sound strange, in defense of the Ku Klux Klan.
Okay, I want to hear that story right now, and then I want to read Felicia's comment.
Okay, because what I was trying to explain to someone, there was a Ku Klux Klan when I lived in Southwest Virginia. There was a Ku Klux Klan rally in the next town over. And at that time, I was at a different phase in my life where I was the belligerent black man, okay? I was the militant, belligerent black man. I've calmed down quite a bit since then. But somebody was asking me if I was going to go counter-protest the rally. And I just looked at him and said, at that time I was in the National Guard. I was like, I'm in the National Guard, right? And he was like, what's that got to do with it? And I'm like, as a United States serviceman, I'm a defender of the Constitution. Therefore, I will defend with my life their right to have their ignorant belief.
I love
Because
that
if
you
we
put
take
in
their
ignorant belief.
away from them, we can take my just belief away from me. So no, I'm not going to protest them. They have the right to act that way.
Ed, in your little Facebook group that you just created recently, I
Mhm.
think it was in there, I saw a thing, and I showed this one to Andrea. It said, we used to think that people were ignorant because of their lack of access to information. The internet proved us wrong.
Yep, it proved
Yeah.
us wrong.
Oh,
And by the way, that comment Felicia said a moment ago said they got canceled because of all the Karens that complained. This is what we were referring to earlier. And with what you just said, Felicia says, exactly. Now that I agree with. And I don't think she was agreeing with Bob using his bidet.
we don't know.
And I want to say a quick hello to Blinker Bell there. Hey, baby, how you doing? Hope you're doing all right today. We are live streaming the recording of our podcast. Jump in with your opinion, anything unrelated or just not amusing to us. We're not going to read out loud, but we appreciate every single comment you're throwing in the chat.
Absolutely.
So, Ed, back to what you were saying.
Oh, that's it.
That was a while ago. I've never known you to be belligerent, man.
Oh, this was before we even met.
I've never known you to be an angry black man. I've known you to
yeah,
do a fucking rant, but I'm right there with you.
Anti-Confederate flag and
Okay.
and all that stuff back in the day, man. Now I'll slap that Confederate flag on my hat and wear it out proudly.
What happened? What changed?
Education.
That's
How?
crazy talk, Ed.
How? What? Wait, what? How did
I read more and educated myself. Well, you guys know we did the show on Confederate history from
I know
a
we
black
did.
man's point of view. Yeah.
where we had to shut up a lot. By the way, it's great at work. They're like, we're doing Black History Month. Who wants to join this council? And as white people, Andrea and I are like, and we just like Homer in the bushes. Blink says, I do not support the Confederacy. It's no longer in effect. You're okay. But what I'm saying is go back, check out this episode, because
It's
Blinker, Ed's opinions on the Confederacy are going to fucking surprise you, baby. I promise you that. And by the way, Felicia, I love these comments. These folks are on topic right now.
Thank you, people.
Felicia says, I feel that everyone has a right to their faith, beliefs, opinions, whatever, as long as they're not forcing it on others. I love that.
Amen.
Yeah. I don't care if it's religious, political,
Can I
or
say
sports. No, I'm
Yes,
triggered.
you can, Ed.
I'm canceling you, bitch.
You can say it. Well, and I think it's great when people have other differing opinions, because if we're all the same, it's boring. But sometimes I don't understand and I don't know, and I want to know your point of view. But if I ask questions and you get offended, like if I ask questions and they're like, "Oh no, you can't ask it. Don't." That's well, that's not a conversation. How are other people supposed to learn your point of view if you won't say it?
Yes. Can we stop it already with the isms? We automatically want to ism somebody when they say something. Sorry, Travis, but I'm on a rant. We automatically want to ism somebody when they say something. They say something, you're an ism. You're one of these isms. You're done. You're ignorant. You're prejudiced. You're racist, or whatever the hell it is. Stop it already. Listen to what they have to say. Let them listen to what you have to say, and
if they will,
maybe we can come to a damn consensus and make the world a better freaking place. Sorry.
And that's how you fucking educate yourself. When I was coming up in the 80s and 90s, I'm probably autistic on some level. I'm pretty much fucking guaranteeing that, because I would go to my gay friends or my black friends or my Middle Eastern friends or my Hebrew friends, and I'd ask, tell me about this. what is this? I want to, and I listened.
And he does, and sometimes he's worried he's going to offend me.
So very.
Ask me. You can't know unless you ask.
But
And if you're asking for genuine information and not being a dick,
right,
that's different.
it's a
But if
beautiful
you're
conversation
just-
at that point. On the
Yep.
other hand, some people don't even know how to back up their beliefs, so their auto reaction is to yell, "You're attacking me. I'm triggered. Ah." And you don't
Yep.
get to learn because they don't even know. And
Yep.
then, by the way, I love comedians. A lot of my political knowledge comes from comedians because they call this shit out. On the other hand, I've seen people take comedians' opinions. Quick example. You know that song, Baby, It's Cold Outside?
Mhm.
Yeah.
This
I may have heard it.
whole
So,
movement against it came from a comedian who went, he roofied her. That's a date rape song. It was a joke. But people heard this one comedian repeated outside of the comedic arena, and now there are radio stations that will not play that song at all. By the way, there have been certain artists that have flipped the roles, flipped the male-female role,
right.
where the guy is going, I really must go. Baby, it's cold outside, says the woman. And it's a totally different song. Suddenly it's okay.
That's a double standard.
And by the way, Blinker says, angry people barely need a reason to be angry. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, we got something from Felicia, who's fucking been throwing some great comments out.
Okay. Lisa has a question. Go ahead, read it.
I have a Baptist background, says Felicia. Growing up, I was not allowed to ask why to pretty much anything in the Bible. And I would get in trouble for asking. Like, why should a woman obey her husband regardless of any physical damage they cause her wife, or regardless how many times he cheated? And she would get in trouble for going, so my husband could beat me and fuck around, but I just have to meekly... What the fuck?
That right there.
And I'm paraphrasing.
I had questions. Like I like to go to different religion churches and things because I'm curious.
That's how I spent my
I like
teens.
to know their point of view. I went and I started asking questions and they asked me not to come back.
Yeah, cancel
I get it.
culture
I
has
get
been
it.
around for a long time, folks. And it's called mob mentality if you go back to the 1800s. And now with social media, it's called cancel culture. Because really, it's kind of a cool turn of phrase in a weird, what? Sort of way.
So I don't. Sorry. I don't know about you guys.
Mhm.
And Felicia, I don't. You sound like you're on the same level as me. I can't just be like, okay, I agree. I'd like to know a little bit more information to know why I agree or why you think I should agree. I can't just be like, oh, okay. Or like even the doctor's like, take this pill. Why? What is it? How's it gonna help? How's
That's
it gonna
crazy.
You know, I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Wear your mask or you're canceled. Get all of your shots or you're canceled.
Oh, by the way,
What?
can we talk about that for a moment?
Oh God.
I'm about to educate you fuckers. By the way, I want to read Blinkerbell's comment. Cancel culture is just a catchphrase people use when they're mad others don't like what they like, or so I thought. By the way, I'm going to agree and disagree with that. Cancel culture, I think I get the message you're sending, the baseline, and I agree with what the baseline. Cancel culture is what people who are against, people who get offended easily and shut people down and cause a ruckus about it so other people jump in. Oh, how dangerous do we want to go with this show, guys? I'll keep it general, not specific. There are people that have spoken about current issues in the past 5 years who have been canceled, who had a
Yes.
very valid input. They were concerned about young minds and bodies being altered before they're even adults, empowering young people with more power than adults have. And as an adult, you guys are all adults right here. You guys are all
I've been
adults.
accused of it.
And you know how confused you are on a goddamn daily basis about what you should do about shit. Should you take that medicine? Should you not? Should you do this? Well, blah, blah, blah. But
Go ahead, Travis.
No,
Sorry.
finish it. I'm really rambling. I'm.
Well, something else. Boundaries are healthy and good, and those who mock them are red flags. I agree. Boundaries are healthy and good. However, if you're so hard set in your boundary that you're not willing to even listen or consider someone else's idealism, that's not necessarily good. That's what causes us to start canceling one another out.
It's the support of us and them xenophobia.
So also, like, if somebody if I ask a question, it is perfectly okay for them to say, I don't feel comfortable discussing that right now.
Absolutely. I don't want to talk
Just
about
to be like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Yeah.
That's acceptable.
By the way, let me clear this up real quick. Hey, Blinker, we are not attacking you personally. We're discussing a broad spectrum topic here.
Yeah.
So
boundaries are healthy and good.
Yeah, and it is nobody's business. Sorry, what I do with my time or money, so they can keep on crying. I guess that's absolutely true. Let's talk about Chick-fil-A, a Christian-based restaurant that we fucking love. But the CEO came out with, oh, I don't believe in gay marriage. We fucking believe in gay marriage. But we believe we really enjoy that chicken sandwich. And we know sheep fillet, Rachel, you beauty. Sheep fillet, which is on her map in our D&D game. Fair enough, Blinker. We're not angry. We're just almost disgusted at the level that a lot of these people that join cancel culture, I feel like they're joining to validate their own place, even though they haven't even thought the issue out. And I think that's what we're getting at, is you can disagree and shut people down, but at least educate yourself on both sides. Andrea?
So, Chick-fil-A. Okay, yeah. CEO doesn't believe in gay marriage. Great, don't do gay marriage. That's his choice. I don't even know who it was. But for people to boycott this restaurant and say, I'm not going to spend my money there, okay, that is their right too. But that doesn't just affect the CEO, because he's going to get paid either way. That affects the workers, because if they don't have enough business, they'll close it down. And I have a lot of friends that have worked there, and a lot of them are gay, and they're like, whatever, it's a job that pays my bills. If you boycott, I can't have my job. I don't get the money to pay my bills. So you're not hurting the CEO. You're hurting the employees. But yes, you have every right to boycott, every right to spend your money however. But think of the broader picture of who it affects.
By the way, I love what Blinker just said. And I feel personally attacked by this. But she says to assume one isn't educated because they disagree, stop listening, is interesting. Because both sides do it, don't they?
Right. And both sides need to freaking stop.
Because both sides use that as a defense.
Right.
The right side and the wrong side.
Right.
But
both sides, the right side, the wrong side, the right side and the left side even will say you're uneducated instead of listening.
That's a very interesting statement. And yeah, I guess I'm going with a live and let live. You do not have to support whatever you don't want to support. But there is a lot of people who love a bandwagon because they don't have to walk on their own if they jump on that bandwagon. They don't have to think. They don't have to research. They can take one out of context clip and build a whole thing on it.
Would you like butter on that, sir?
Nice, Bleeker. And Felicia says the CEO gave his opinion. That's fine. It would be concerning if he said he doesn't want to serve homosexuals the food.
Absolutely.
But does that okay with that? Yes, that's a valid point. But when I have to go, if I go to a restaurant and they're like, okay, what's your sexual preference? If I have to give that information before I get my chicken sandwich, I'm not going there anyway.
Exactly.
I'm just picturing that happening at Outback.
Now, the other side of that is, and I'm not saying anybody should be that ignorant, okay? But I've heard of cases where a gay couple wanted to get married to go to the bakery, and bakery says, I'm not gonna
remember
take your
this.
cake because you're a gay couple. And so there's the lawsuit. Here's the thing, people. If you're a gay couple, I'm in an interracial marriage. I didn't have a wedding cake because we just did a little simple wedding in our backyard. And I think my wife baked some cupcakes. But anyway, I'm in an interracial marriage. And if I went to a bakery to have my wedding cake done, and they looked at me and said, I'm not going to do your wedding cake because I'm not going to do that little figurine on top of the cake with a black man and a white woman, I'm going to say, thank you for letting me know. I don't want to give you my business anyway. I'm going to go to the next place because I don't know what the fuck they're going to put in my cake.
Exactly. Right.
And by the way, Blinker just kind of backed that up with her statement. Maybe she didn't mean to, maybe she did. Our dollars are our power, and how people choose to spend theirs is literally none of my business. And by the way, Blinker, yeah, I actually do like Chick-fil-A, but we found Banquet has a mega filet in the freezer section, 6 for $6. You get the right butter bread bun. It's as good as Chick-fil-A, I swear to you. And it's much more economical.
I do like Chick-fil-A. It is expensive, and our nearest Chick-fil-A is about an hour away from us. So it's not like right down the street, so we don't go very often anyway.
But yeah, and by the way, for you folks over here throwing up these arguments, we love it. We appreciate your input and opinion because it doesn't feel like you're attacking us personally. You didn't go, you're a fucking idiot. Here's my opinion. You went, but what about this? And that's...
Guess what? We're talking this shit out.
That's a goddamn discussion. That's fucking the right way to do it.
That's crazy. We're not saying change your opinion. You don't have to, as long as you're not telling us to change. It's just like, here's a discussion. Here's my point of view.
I hear what you're saying. Not going to work for me. That's okay.
Okay, I got a couple comments I'm going to read. Blinker says, I don't like Hobby Lobby because they don't sell Halloween. Which I didn't realize that. They don't sell Halloween stuff, guys? Anyhow, I don't go there. And if that's cancel culture, cry about it, all right? May your tears water your soul. Rachel says, I'm probably one of the few people I know who's tried Chick-fil-A and thought, crispy, crunchy. By the way, that is some damn... Andrea?
I want some of that. It's really good.
That's good chicken. That's good chicken. And Cleo and Leo, I don't know if we have that over here, but
we don't have that
you
here.
say it's better? Woo me with a chicken patty. That's good and tasty. We're not asking you to change.
Me too.
We're not asking us to change. Like normal discussion? Unheard of. You know what's nice about Chick-fil-A, says Blinker? The little bits they offer for free. They're little cups of Cheerios for the kiddos. Oh, I don't even know about those.
I don't have kids.
Things I wish I saw in more impoverished areas. My point is, one person's opinion is not the company. What, Andrea? I'm sorry.
I got a good story about Chick-fil-A. So, back in the day, it's been a while, I guess early 2000s or whatever, I worked at a daycare that was based out of a church. And not very good neighborhood. It was low income, and the daycare couldn't really afford for field trips and stuff in the summer because I took care of the older kids. And Chick-fil-A donated several coupons so all the kids could get a sandwich and all these things. So we did a field trip, and they got to go and order their food, not have to pay for it, and play on the playground.
They have a good playground, don't they?
I don't know about anymore. They took them all out since COVID.
Mm.
But I thought that was nice. So, yeah.
Oh, Rachel, I don't want to read your comment, but I gotta. She's talking about this other place and basically just saying Cleo and Leo, in-house California chains, so we probably haven't seen it. Exclusive grocery deli. It's delicious, old school KFC level good, which, by the way, that's impressive. KFC is not what it was 20 years ago, right? A third of the price, though.
Mm.
And Blinker says, I don't give him money anymore because I don't have to. I super love when it upsets people. So it's just the icing on my LGBTQIA plus love and ass. Yeah, but for example, by the way, let me drop a spoiler in your guys' laps. This whole thing, everybody's like DEI. They're shutting it. They're not changing anything except taking out the terminology. They didn't change anything when they added
Did it
it.
change the thing?
What's the
Yeah.
DEI?
Diversity.
I know what a DUI is.
Diversity, inclusion. What is the ED?
Shit.
Somebody in chat help us out. We don't.
Yes.
Not
somebody-
DIY.
No,
DIY, Rachel. I know about that too.
Diversity, equality, and inclusion.
There you go. Thank you.
Oh.
But anyhow, the point is,
I don't remember
we had
acronyms.
another thing with, oh my God, I can't remember his name. All the President's Men, whatever his TV show was. He got caught in bed with an underage guy who he propositioned, was told no, and they slept through the night. This got out. He went to court, and there's all kinds of debate about that. Kevin Spacey.
The actor, Kevin Spacey, yeah.
But the cancel culture that around him, where they canceled his show and all this other thing, didn't just affect him. It affected a lot of things. For right or wrong, and I don't actually have an opinion if it's right or wrong on this one, because I've heard all kinds of things in my research. Good and bad.
I wasn't there. I don't know what happened, so.
By the way, Blinker says the trainings that cover diversity and sexual harassment are gone now from my husband's office.
Mm.
It's kind of like that old thing of what's the answer to rape? Don't rape.
Mm.
This stuff should be natural, and sadly, it's not. The same thing with Ed, me treating you like a goddamn human being.
What?
Should be natural. But do you think training is going to help break an upbringing? In some cases, yes.
No.
But in most cases, no.
No. Here's what's going to help break that upbringing. I'm gonna go back to it again.
What?
Talking to one another and learning about each other. I'll just share an analogy here. I shared it on a previous show many years ago, and it's kind of long, so please forgive me. Okay. My neighbor Billy Bob. Okay, I'm a kayaker. I'm a country boy. I'm a kayaker. I come in from work one day. I come in off the river one day. I got my kayaks on top of the truck, and my neighbor Billy Bob, he's down there at the mailbox. I'm getting my mail, and he looks at me and he says, "Hey, I see them there boats. You float on the river? You fish?" I was like, "Nope, don't float on the river. Don't fish. I just float on the river, but I don't fish. I'll take you out sometime if you're interested." Now, my neighbor Billy Bob, he has a Confederate flag hanging from his deck because his great-great-granddaddy fought in the Civil War on the side of the Confederacy. By the way, I do live in Virginia, okay? So the next Saturday, my neighbor Billy Bob and I, we get out and we go on the river and we have a good old time. Except for the fact he tries to get me, which was okay back in those days, bud, because I don't drink nobody's fucking bud. Didn't drink it then, I don't drink it now. So, but we have a good old time. So my neighbor Billy Bob and I, we actually get to know each other, even though his great-great-granddaddy fought on the side of the Confederacy, and I'm a black man, okay? We go to each other's house for dinner. We have barbecues together. We smoke shit together out on the smoker. He even invites me over to see NASCAR, okay? But I bought my own whiskey when we went over to see NASCAR because he drank that nasty Jack Daniels shit, and I don't drink that nasty Jack Daniels shit, okay? Then one day, I'm down at the mailbox. Billy Bob comes along. He's a little cold at me. I was like, what the hell's going on with Billy Bob? I come up here. Billy Bob's wife, my wife, been talking. The women are always talking. Our homeowners association told him he had to take the Confederate flag down. So he's a little bit mad at me. He thought I complained about his Confederate flag. So I went over and I told Billy Bob, I don't care damn about your damn Confederate flag. We're good, okay? So things get a little bit better between me and Billy Bob. Some time goes by, Billy Bob gets cold to me again. The women are talking, so I come in and ask my wife, what happened to Billy Bob? And she says, well, he got a letter from the cemetery in town because he had a little Confederate flag on his great-great-granddaddy's grave, and he can't fly it no more. So you know what Billy Bob's doing right now? Billy Bob's over at his house researching the KKK because now he's pissed off at all black people. We were making progress and getting to know each other, but because of fucking cancel culture, me and Billy Bob, we're never going to know each other again.
Is this a true story? I mean, different names. But that's fair.
Some names have been changed to protect the innocent. Dum dum.
That's what cancel culture does, people.
Mm-hmm. Blinker says, I thought he was digging up his great-granddaddy. I'm glad it went the other way. I mean, he's shitty and hope he's dead now, but you know. And by the way, for everybody, all our viewers and listeners in the podcast of this, I have no idea what race, religion, political leaning, etc. Blinker is. And that's the beauty of the tavern, people. We're going to fucking talk about it. And I think if we talk about it most of the times, unless somebody's just so stuck in it, they're not going to shift at all. Once we learn about each other, which is what we've preached 3-4 times this episode alone, we're going to grow.
Work.
So, yeah. So, yeah, cancel culture, mob mentality, if you will, it has a value when you're dealing with, I don't know. I don't know where to go with this, honestly.
It can work. Let me give you an example, okay? Because, and I think I've probably talked about this on an episode before. Back in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, I was a little kid. My dad was a civil rights leader in his own right on the local level. Grocery stores in the area would not hire black people. Wouldn't do it. So black people boycotted. We had 2 grocery stores in the town next over because I grew up in a very rural area. We had to go 30 minutes away to go grocery shopping. We had 2 stores, Safeway and P. They boycotted the Safeway first. Black people just stopped shopping there. Black people from 3 counties shopped there. They stopped shopping there. Guess what? They started hiring black people. So after they got that one to start hiring black people, they boycotted the next one. It can work, and it is justifiably so in some instances. It can work, but not always. It's not always justified.
Let's talk about the sex offender list. I know one guy who was on the sex offender list, and I didn't research this personally, because he was a 70-plus-year-old man who had sex with a goat. Got caught, was put on the sex offender list. But because of that, some people see sex offender, even if they're not found guilty.
They think child molester.
Yeah. And also, what about that 19-year-old boy and that 17-year-old girl who's been dating for 3 years? And now that guy is on the sex offender list because he aged out.
And the parents weren't happy and pressed charges.
Right.
I think it should be an individual basis, but you know, I'm not in the legal system. I don't know.
Well, I remember a few years back, there was a teacher, female teacher, had sex with an underage student. She
Had
got
a
put on
kid.
the right, had a kid, got put on the sex offenders list. He graduated high school. They ended up getting married and had been married for like 6 years or something like that. She still could not get her name taken off the list.
By the way, Blinker says, I don't give respect to certain sorts of people. Totally fair. But I don't give them disrespect either. My character is my own. Unlike Billy Bob, who blames others for their choices, I own my own.
Well,
This,
Billy Bob wasn't blaming others for their choices. Other people were blaming Billy Bob for his choice. They pushed him over the edge.
He was coming
Billy
over.
Bob, Billy Bob and I were getting along fine, despite our past, despite his family's past, despite my past. We were getting along fine. Other people couldn't leave Billy Bob alone because of a damn flag.
Because they gave that flag a lot of power.
They gave it too much power. I didn't give it any fucking power.
so I guess
They
what
gave it too much power.
we're trying to say is educate yourself. Respect yourself enough to make an educated choice. Andrea, I saw you make a hand movement.
I'm going to tell you done with your thoughts.
I'm just saying personal responsibility on both sides of this equation is so important.
Yeah. So instead of them going and, getting him in trouble for the flag, they should have went and talked to him and said, hey, explain this, or, why.
If
Because,
they'll listen and talk.
yeah.
If they'll listen and talk. They don't want to listen.
It sounds like, because Ed, you went and talked to him and you understood and the things and y'all were fine. Anyway, so so many comments going so fast, but it looks like Rachel. All right, Morley, author, check out their books. Said something about the Romeo Juliet law was in effect because of the age thing. Okay, I get that. But doing a lot of research into my family, like my genealogy and stuff, I look at like my grandfather. He was in World War II. He was born in like 1919, and my grandmother was later. I look at a lot of the people in the family, and they married. Their age gap was pretty big, like 12 years.
Yeah, back in those days.
Yeah. It was okay then, but I don't know. I understand the age gap thing and all that, but just case by case, people.
We could take it by the Jetsons example.
The what?
Jetsons, the cartoon, Space Age Family.
Oh.
Where if you look at the age gap between George Jetson and his wife Jane versus when their first child Judy was born, Jane would have been 16 when Judy was born. George was like 10 or 12 years older. And now people are like, well, what's up with that? By the way, I want to comment here. Blinker, I'm going to read part of your comment. So sorry to not read it all. But angry people hardly need a reason to be angry. That is gold right there.
Yes, angry people hardly need a reason to be angry, but Billy Bob and I were just fine. There was no anger.
Mm-hmm.
We were understanding each other. But because other people didn't understand.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm reading comments.
Me too. Go ahead.
Blinker Bell says, I have experience as a victim and a mother of a victim, and I'll just say, y'all sound like you've dated with a gap. There's 7 years between Andrea and I.
But we didn't get together until we were like late 30s, early 40s.
I was 42, she was 35. So, yeah. If that's a gap,
My wife
absolutely.
was robbing the cradle, so.
Yeah, well, what's the age difference between you and your wife?
She's 5 years older.
5 years older. But when it comes to cancel culture, it's a matter of knowing what bandwagon you're jumping on, folks.
Mm-hmm.
It's because sometimes it's absolutely valuable because the law is not going to step in. On the other hand, there are some folks expressing their legal given right. I won't say any kind of God given right. But yeah, it's
The thing about that though, you said the law won't jump in, but sometimes cancel culture pushes the law.
it triggers the law.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
guides the law.
and by the way, sometimes that's valuable. Other times,
Right.
and you would hope the law would take an impartial view and roll in and go, oh, this. But law is often very much guided by popular opinion, right
By popular
or
opinion.
wrong. And
Right.
sometimes it is right, sometimes it is.
So I'm reading comments, and I don't know. They just keep going by so fast.
They're good, right?
But um,
Yes, Bob, I
so
like cougars.
so I'm not saying that a 12-year-old and a 30-year-old should get together. No.
Mm-hmm.
But like if 15 and 17, but they begin together for a while, I think it should be a case by case. I don't
Okay,
think
Blake.
it should be like a huge gap unless you're older. And I'm not saying 18 and 50 or whatever. But whatever, legal is legal. But I don't think when you turn 18, you're automatically an adult, no matter what the law says. But
Hell, 30 or 40.
Mm.
yeah, so
Here's the thing. I'm much older. I'm 60 years old. Back when I was a kid in high school, if I had number one, I would have come home and told my dad I hooked up with one of the teachers, and I never would have told him that. I was smarter than that.
You told a lot of other people, wouldn't you, though?
Yeah, I would have told a lot of other people, but never would have told my dad because I've been hoping to hook up what happened again, and so I never told him that. He'd probably say, "That's my boy."
Oh, I love this comment. Felicia says, I think people see the physical age gap and the mental age gap as the same thing, which in some situations I can understand. But at the same time, the physical and mental ages are not the same. So agree with that. Because I moved out on my own and away from my mother's house at age 16. And I was working 2 jobs and I was adulting. On the other hand, I now know 30-year-olds that have never lived anywhere but their parents' house.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, I can remember my junior year in high school. Believe it or not, I know it's going to be hard to believe. My junior year in high school, I couldn't find a date for the prom. And that's what my dad told me. He's like, you got some of them teachers just graduated high school, just graduated college. They ain't but 22 years old. Ask one of them to go to the prom. I was like, yeah, Dad. That
Wait, did you actually hook up with a teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just curious. I was totally ready to condemn that shit.
So I don't think, like in my opinion, I don't think a teacher and a student should date in middle school, high school, whatever. No.
Yeah, I agree with
Maybe
that.
college. Well, I mean, I didn't even know about in college.
I agree.
See, I'm one of those people that says, if it is love, it'll wait a couple years.
Oh, graduation, yeah.
Yeah. And even when I was younger, I'd be like, you know what? Don't pull that trigger and shoot that gun. Don't.
If it's love, I'm going to sound like one of those old people now. I never would have said this when I was 20 years old. But
yeah.
I'm going to sound, if it's love, even if you're both the same age, just 18 leaving school, it can wait a few years, okay?
I've given that same advice to my son. If it ain't absolutely, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, tread carefully. Because, and this is the situation I'm talking about, we're not even talking about school age. We're talking about adult age. And they're the same age. Right. But the situation dictates you're going to be better if you wait. If it's real, it'll be there when your situation changes.
That happened with us, even though the age difference is like 6 years. We waited.
We did.
Is this how? No.
Oh, it is 6, isn't it? I'm sorry.
Now, Travis.
It depends who had a birthday last.
So, yeah, even we waited. It's like, okay, if this is gonna last in 4 years, we'll talk about moving in together.
That's a true story.
Yeah, it's a true story. I'm like, wait till my kid graduates high school, is headed off to college, then we'll talk about it.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, now we'll wait a little more before we talk about marriage.
And I was a crazy asshole that went, I'm good with that. We'll wait.
And here we are.
Yeah. Here we are. Almost 12
I
years.
like what she says here. She's referring to me not having a date for prom. Don't feel bad. I took my female cousin to prom because I didn't have a date and wasn't allowed to go alone. I love your ingenuity, though.
Hey.
By the way,
Somebody.
Yeah, I think same-sex cousin, that's not even incest at that point, right? That's how porn starts.
Oh my God.
No, that's wrong. Am I wrong?
Only when you're in West Virginia, Travis.
There's no chance to have a baby. There's no pregnancy chance.
Oh my God.
Anyhow, let's wrap this up. I think I've summarized our thoughts a couple times this episode is educate yourself, base it on individual situations, and yes, sometimes the mob mentality, aka cancel culture, has very much value. But quite often, it's people making themselves feel important by jumping on one other thing that in a broad spectrum looks very wrong. And whether that's Felicia says, I'm not from Alabama. Oh my God. No disrespect.
I'm sorry. I saw that and I just saw Bama.
Bama. It's yeah, there is no disrespect felt here. And I goddamn appreciate. By the way, Rachel earlier said, wait till your prefrontal cortex is fully developed.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah. And there's Jack Lucas, who went to prom with after sneaking into the military at 14, getting deployed in Japan at 16, earning a Medal of Honor at 17, and then retired to go back to finish high school. What era was that, Rachel? What decade? What century? Because we have to ask that now, right? What century? I'm World War II.
Okay. Well, apparently that happened a lot then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's what I would say. Okay, let go of any preconception. God, lost my words.
You're doing great, but go on. Preconditioned notions.
Yeah. Oh, bottle wine later. Preconditioned notions that you might have. Let go of any education that you might have. Talk to somebody. Listen. Don't just automatically cancel them out because they don't agree with what you say. Talk to one another. You may learn something.
Mm-hmm.
You may miss a great person out of your life if you don't listen and try to learn and understand one another.
This totally makes it sound like that Billy Bob situation was more real.
Maybe.
Yeah. But here's what I know. Growing up, I asked everybody about the religion. I grew up in South Florida, so I had Haitians, I had South Americans, Central Americans flooding the state, and I was friends with all of them. And if there was nothing in common, there was at least whatever they or their mother or grandmother would cook, where I could make a connection. I could find something that I went, ooh, I like this. Let's find some more. Now, in this day and age of internet education, I'd like to say that's more difficult, but maybe, just maybe, that's more for you to grab onto and research. With all these opinions that we go, that person's a horrible person. If you go find that original article, that original post, that original, or talk to the person directly if you can, you can learn more Thank you for those bits in agreement, Ed.
It's underscore
Yeah, and throw my bits around in a while.
Mhm.
just X100 bits.
Anyhow,
Andrea,
cl-
nothing.
closing thoughts?
Have that conversation. Be open to other people's opinions.
So let's do a closing toast here. Here's to judging once you have more information than what you started with. We have a very good friend who's going through some shit, who we saw very negative things posted on social media with no other information. And they totally dropped off the internet. And we miss it because we've known this person for a long time. And we just want to know they're okay because what we know about them doesn't match anything else. And we're still wishing them the best. And we're so sorry to see people issuing death threats literally in a social media post on somebody who we've known a long time, who's a genuinely good person. So, educate before judging.
Here.
It's a sad toast. Anyhow, let me throw the closing music up and say, let's hear your opinions. Drop it on talkoftheTavernShow@gmail.com. Let us know your experiences. Rant at us, because we might listen if you rant in an intelligible way. On the other hand, if you're a dumbass, we're totally going to make fun of you on the show the next episode. Because I will read that shit out loud because you sent it the goddamn email for the show. But both sides are valuable, and we had an incredible discussion tonight while you guys threw opinions that didn't necessarily agree with us, and we discussed them. So that's beautiful. Catch you next time on the next round.